Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm really excited to have as our guest Mr. Jeff Vacek. I call him Mr. Ferrari because the first time I met him, he actually rolled up to our house in his red Ferrari, so our whole entire family got to take pictures with him in front of it. I'm actually the only other person who's gotten to drive this Ferrari, so it's really nice to have friends in high places. So Jeff, tell us a little bit about what you do. Tell us a little bit about your story. Tell us where you started and just talk about your success and what you used to sort of build that success, if you would.
Sure. A number of years ago, I was in the information technology industry as a director, and I got laid off for the fourth time in 3 years. And if among other things, that was pretty much the writing on the wall. I wasn't supposed to be an employee. I mean, you could make up what that means, but there's a lot of entrepreneurs in my family.
Okay.
And I always
did you resist it at first?
I did.
Is that why you went into corporate America?
Yeah,
okay,
I did very much because I went to college, got a college degree, things like that. It's like, okay, you go get a job and everything. But I always had that entrepreneurial spirit. And so then when I got laid off that last time, I was kind of at a crossroads, and it was like, okay, I need to make a choice right now because I don't have a lot of responsibility in my life right now. But my wife was pregnant with our first child.
Okay.
I was newly married.
That's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah. Had too much month at the end of the money, if you know that phrase.
Okay,
you ever heard that phrase,
okay.
right? And so, but at the same time, I didn't have multiple kids. I didn't own a house. I didn't own a car. The car that I had was one that my parents had given me. And so it was like, okay, I got to choose right now. Am I going to do this entrepreneurial thing, or am I just going to keep beating my head against the wall in corporate world and going from job to job, whatever, just trying to make ends meet. And I chose. I was like, I gotta go be an entrepreneur. And so I did a bunch of different things.
What did your wife say when you said, honey, I'm going to go do this?
She was always very supportive of me. She maybe didn't really understand it. She comes from a very conservative family.
Okay.
As far as you go to school, you get a job, you retire at 65 or 70, you get your pension, that kind of thing, which really can't even happen now. And so she was always very supportive, but the rest of the family just thought I was pretty much an idiot.
Well, you just told me all your family were entrepreneurs, so what?
Well, her family. Okay.
So that's actually more pressure than your family. I get it.
Yeah, it is. So my family was cool with it. Again, some of them didn't understand it. In fact, to this day, my mom always tells people, I don't really know what he does, but he makes really beautiful grandchildren. So, the wife was supportive, but her family wasn't. Now they are. And so I had I guess what I wanted to say, I was talking about this the other day actually on another interview, is I had and what I want to say to your audience, I had a lot of negative energy, a lot of negativity coming in. And what got me through that was hooking up with mentors like you and other mentors in different industries and business mentors and things like that, and studying what they do. Not necessarily studying their business, but studying their habits and things like that. And so putting that positive energy back in really helped a lot. And so I tried a bunch of different things. I tried MLM, network marketing. I tried brick and mortar businesses. I actually got my degree in music, and so I actually started a DJ business. I thought, hey, that kind of mix, music and that was okay, dealing with angry brides and employees and hauling equipment around and stuff like that wasn't the most fun thing. And it was you were always trying to get that next gig. So those of you in real estate know with cash flow properties, there's a lot of leverage. You buy
trading time for money.
Exactly.
Time for money,
Trading time for money. And then I actually started doing some real estate. So I started just doing some wholesale flips. And the coach that I hired to help me in my real estate business, so again, hired another coach,
Right.
always get coaching, was just starting to market his business and learn how to do business, get traffic, get exposure on the internet.
So get leads and to find deals. Yeah,
Exactly. And his business partner actually that was heading all that up tragically died one night, got hit by a drunk driver, and he asked me if I wanted to take over all his internet initiatives and things like that. And so what happened is over a process of 9 months, by doing that, he gave me all kinds of training, sent me to all kinds of events and things like that. I learned the business of doing business online, whether it's doing real estate online, getting leads for real estate online, or whatever kind of business, getting it online, getting more exposure online. And what I discovered was that, and what I like for all your people to hear, because they probably don't hear this a lot and don't realize this, but the internet, I don't care what your business, real estate, whatever, the internet is the fastest, cheapest, simplest way to position yourself as an authority in your niche literally overnight.
Yeah, I agree. And even just position yourself as being like on the planet Earth. Whenever we hire someone, one of the first things we do is we Google them and see where they've been, where they're going, what their Facebook account looks like. A lot of people don't realize, but when people are trying to decide whether or not to do business with you, they will find your pictures on Facebook, right? And they will make judgments on you about that. And then they will find your websites and they'll find your bios and they'll get to kind of make a decision on you and whether or not they want to do business with you pretty quickly because of what you have out there.
Right. And the challenge, unless you have someone that can help you do it the way that you're supposed to do it, someone like me or another guru or something like that, is on the internet. What's been happening, what I've discovered is you're guilty until proven innocent.
True.
And because you're like exposed. I mean, you're out there, just like you're saying. I was going to hire a lady recently to be a nanny for our kids. And then we saw her Facebook and we saw some of the pictures that were on her Facebook.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't think so.
Right.
And, I was willing to give her the benefit of the doubt. So I approached her about it. And she was straight up honest with me and said, yeah, that's, kind of some of the stuff I do in my free time and things like that. And we're like, okay, well, this is not really going to work out. So she was honest. She didn't try to hide it. But,
but at least so Jeff, I know for me personally, I'm the type of person where I'm going to make a judgment on someone and not even give them a chance. And that's a bad thing to say about me, but I think a lot of people might be like that. Like, at least you gave her the opportunity to come out and say, okay, well, this, hoping for a better answer.
Right.
At least you got the truth, which is just as important. But a lot of people will go out there, see your social footprint, your internet footprint, and then say yes or no, whether or not I want to do business with you.
Right.
Or yes or no, are you the authority? Are you the expert? Can I trust you? Are you a person of integrity? And all of these things sort of go on in the subconscious too. You can't even put exactly like, oh, well, this happens. Only people like you who sort of have helped people build that presence and help people become that authority. You can sort of break it down as to here's what people go through in their mind as they go through this process and they find you online.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. We can help you cut through the red tape. I mean, people see 10,000 quote-unquote marketing messages every day. So, if they kind of see one little thing on Facebook about you or whatever, boom, they've already categorized you. They're going on to the next thing because they got 500 more emails to get through or whatever. So, yeah, we can help, cut through that red tape and stuff.
So from there, so you had some success in corporate America. You had some failures in corporate America. You basically said, I'm going to reinvent myself. Talk about that reinventing process. You did a little real estate. You did some internet marketing. So I guess my question to you is, how did you go from being laid off for the however manyth time to driving a Ferrari to owning the Red Bull tour bus? Like, tell me about that transition.
Well, let me clarify. I don't own the Red Bull tour bus, but I have a really nice private motor coach, which is I know what you're referring to.
Yes.
In racing, it would be like sacrilege for me to have something Ferrari and Red Bull on my bus at the same time, because those are two very teams that compete against each other. And I'm actually really excited about coming to your town pretty soon to see the Formula One race. So, I mean, really, like I said, it all started with studying the habits of successful people. Because a mentor a long time ago, long before I was laid off that last time, told me that if you want to be successful, go find someone that's been successful in the area you want to be successful in, and duplicate what they've done. And so I immediately started studying successful entrepreneurs primarily in real estate and the internet, financial areas of real estate and things like that. And I just figured out all the different things that they have in common. And what kind of got me from where I was to more focusing on the internet and not continuing with real estate and things like that was just that it's just going to sound kind of weird, okay? But it was like the internet was calling me. It was like all the people that kept showing up in my inbox or at events that I was at and kind of kept showing up in my life were internet entrepreneurs. And so I know that sounds maybe kind of woo-woo or something like that, but I mean, when the universe calls, you listen, in my opinion, and they just kept showing up. People like Yannick Silver, Ryan Dice, who you know those guys, and even real estate guys on the internet, like you and Phil, and things like that, just kept showing up. There was always an internet piece or an internet element to everybody that I was meeting. I was not meeting people that owned like successful franchises or the top mom and pop restaurants in town. I wasn't. Those people weren't showing up. So I knew there was something on internet. And I think part of it was because I was a technology guy. Right. I mean, I think it was so I could relate to it really quickly. Right. I was able to pick up on the technical stuff pretty fast. You don't have to, just so everybody knows. But, I mean, I did have that background.
But the idea of, so having that background, it's releasing that exchange of time for money. It's making money in your sleep. It's getting leads in your sleep. And it's doing business in your sleep because you have them fill out, here's my seller, squeeze page, right? So I've got to have them filling out all the information about the house, even asking them, well, how much do you want, right? So when I call, I know. So I love that process myself, because having that presence allows me to duplicate myself and be 100 other places and not have to be there.
The leverage, in my opinion, there's no better leverage than the internet, because it's mechanical, it's automation, and you can't make a person do what the internet can do, or a machine or anything in general can do. So, like for instance, in real estate, you're exactly right. I mean, massive amounts of leverage in real estate. You could be literally, think about, you could go to bed at 9 o'clock at night, and at 5 o'clock in the morning have hundreds of seller leads from all over the country, whatever hot markets you're targeting and things like that, and you were sleeping the whole time it happened. Or, you could position yourself as one of the top investors in your town or other towns or whatever. And there's lots of different medias to do that. One of the things that we talk about in our programs a lot is like webinars. The thing that's so powerful about webinars is that they're so close to a live event, because there's obviously nothing better than live interaction. You and I right here, intimate live interaction and things like that. And a webinar is like the next best thing, because they're hearing your voice. They might even be seeing you if you have a webcam or something like that, and you might have some PowerPoint slides or whatever you're doing, which is pretty much what you would be doing if you were on stage at an event. They just can't touch you and be right there with you. And so regardless of the industry, even in real estate, imagine positioning yourself as an expert on on saving people from their home, or having to or the other way, helping people through foreclosure, or you're the master at short sales, or whatever it is, and being able to show, whether it's someone on the seller side or the buyer side, show 1,000 of them what you can do to help them at one time, from your bedroom in your underwear at 9 o'clock at night, through a webinar that you pre-recorded the day before, so that you could spend time with your kids that night on the webinar, right? And you're so literally, I mean, think about that. Let's say on a Tuesday you record a pre-recorded webinar that's going to show 1,000 people how you can help them in real estate or whatever it is, that you're going to play back the next night at 9 o'clock while you're laying in bed with your beautiful children, putting them to bed, reading them stories or whatever.
Nice.
I mean, there's no better leverage.
Envision that? I mean, so many of us are a slave to our 9-to-5 job, or even us, wanted to be entrepreneurs, but just realized, I just started a brand new job, right? And you're a slave to it, and you're working 24/7, and you don't have that time to be with your kids. Guys, we're actually really lucky to be here with Jeff today. We had actually scheduled a different time, but he had to reschedule with me because he is a coach for his son Matthew's football team. And he's able to sort of, organize his life, talking about the, habits of highly successful people. He's able to organize his life so that he can do that, so that he can, be this really busy, successful entrepreneur that's all over the internet and do all the things that he does, but yet still have a lot of time to spend with his family, because he's replicated himself over and over and over again on the internet. One of the things that Phil always says to me is, when we first put something out on the internet and we got that, first lead, it's like, Phil's like, this is the greatest thing in the world. What's even better than that is, tonight, I'm going to go to sleep again.
Yeah.
So just kind of having that out there is very, very powerful.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about how you've differentiated yourself from other people in your field out there. Tell us how when someone looks at you versus one of your competitors, why they pick you.
Well, I just can only go off what people tell me. And I don't like to talk about myself a lot, or sound braggadocious or anything. But what my students, clients, customers tell me is that I'm very authentic. I mean, first of all, anybody listening right now, you're different than everyone else.
Sure.
So the cool thing about exposure, or exposing yourself, that sounds great, exposing yourself on the internet, careful with that, is that you inherently are different than everyone else, because there's only one Shanoa, there's only one Jeff, there's only one Phil. And so that you've got that right away. Right away you can distinguish yourself as different than some other guru or expert or authority, because it's you and not them. So that's number one. Number two, again, just off what people tell me, is they tell me that I seem very authentic. They're comfortable with me. They don't feel like I'm shooting them a bunch of crap or sounding like a, with all due respect to car salesman, a sleazy car salesman or something like that. They tell me that they get a sense that I really have a commitment to help them and to provide a full solution to them, whatever it is, in relationship to putting a business online, marketing online, selling whatever kind of product online. They've told me that they feel like it's very genuine, and I'm not just out to take their money or get a quick buck or something like that. I've even had people, this is funny, we were talking about webinars. We do some events, like you and Phil do and stuff like that. And I've had people come up to me at my events and go, one of the main reasons I registered for your webinar, the night, whenever that was, that I registered for your webinar, was because of your picture. You just looked authentic and honest, and it wasn't like this, picture that you did where you're airbrushed and really too professional, so look fake, like a stock photo. It didn't look like a stock photo. You looked authentic and real. And there's so much there, and there is, and there's so much crap out there.
Cowboy boots, and I mean, like, his.
I'm actually not wearing them today.
He's not wearing them today, but I see him in his suit and tie, and he'll have his cowboy boots on, and we're Texans, right?
And I'm only wearing the suit and tie because the person that was promoting the event made me. I'm much more comfortable not in the suit and tie. So
yeah, I mean, but sure, blue jeans, cowboy boots. I mean, so that shows a little bit about who you are, but. So I know that you've had many interactions with celebrities. Mm-hmm. I know you've had singing cameos before.
Yeah.
How do you use some of that to sort of build that authority and not just the authenticity side, but just kind of show, look, and not to be like, celebrity crazy,
mm-hmm.
but look, I'm connected enough that I can get a picture with this guy, and do you use that? Do you use some of that marketing, some of that celebrity to kind of show, like, differentiate yourself from other, people who do what you do?
I mean, I do, but the way that I use it, what I think is important, Shanoa, is to not be braggadocious.
Right.
But to say, I'm sitting here on stage. Why am I standing here singing "Every Rose Has Its Thorn" with Bret Michaels?
Right.
Well, actually, because I just said that I would pay $50,000 to St. Jude's Children's Hospital for the opportunity to sing with him.
Right.
And so it's like, so what I always try to do when I talk about something like that is back it out and bring it down to my audience's level. Mm-hmm. How did I get the $50,000?
Right.
Well, that was from being an internet entrepreneur,
right.
through years of blood, sweat, and tears of becoming a successful entrepreneur by doing this, and this.
Right.
And I never forget that it's my clients, and I mean, honestly, the people that pay me money that, ultimately got me. So I always try to bring it down to that level, and then so people can really see it for themselves. Mm-hmm. So when you bring it down to their level and they see the process, they see the gap, because there's a gap. But you also
bring your people along with you.
Exactly, that's true. I do that.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like F1's coming up. I mean,
mm-hmm.
Are you bringing some students with you?
I'm bringing students. We're bringing celebrities. We're actually doing a mastermind, and the coach will be catered, and a couple of celebrities who I'm not going to say right now will be coming by. There's a couple of the very successful internet entrepreneur Austinites. You probably know a few of them that have suites there, and they've invited me and my clients and students to come for a little bit. And so, I mean, the people that are coming are going to experience a weekend like they've never experienced
So Jeff's
before.
not just looking out for himself and not just using some of his contacts and his celebrity contacts to promote his own self, but he also lets his students leverage exactly the same thing he's experiencing, so that they can use it as they build their own business and help grow their business, so they can make more money, drive a Ferrari, and spend more time with their family. Right?
That's exactly right. Yes, and that's. You said the key thing right there, Shanoa, is that, pay it forward. These people, I mean, at the end of the day, let's be completely transparent. These people got me where I am. Sure, I had to get to them first
right.
and do the hard work
right.
and fulfill and things like that. It's a two-way street. It's a relationship. It's like a marriage. Having a customer and, it's like a marriage. And the thing about the internet is, man, you have a whole lot less leeway to screw up, because
sure.
then they can be all over the internet,
sure.
telling everybody, that you screwed up and things like that. And I want to share it with them. A lot of times people ask me, like, what satisfaction do you get out of this business? And the satisfaction that I get is seeing a mother of two that was working in her name's Gabby, that was working in an advertising agency 60 hours a week. Husband doing the same thing, completely unsupportive, mm-hmm. And now she has a thriving multiple six-figure internet business, and she quit her job. She gets to be with those kids anytime she wants to. Her husband is now kicking her out the door to do more stuff on the internet and things like that. And her, sharing her story.
Right.
And, one of the things I know we're going to do is let them have access to a training and everything. And she's actually one of the people that I talk about on the training, because my whole thing is like, yeah, I did a lot of really cool and great stuff, but it's like, what can I do for other people?
I love that I'm hearing this from you, because I share a lot of the success stories of our customers too. And to me, it's one thing to hear from Phil and I, like, oh, this is the house we bought the other day. This is the rehabbing it's like, but at some point, guys, come on, let's get honest. That probably gets a little old for you to see. So
Yeah.
I love highlighting the success of my students, and it does multiple things. Number one, it shows, yes, this stuff really does work, right? Which is important to me. Number two, it's a testimonial to what I am teaching, that it works. Number three, here, and sometimes we, a lot of our students, our big dog students, are on a listserv together. So basically what I make all of our big dog students do is, because we do these accountability calls with them, so we know what they're doing. So every time they got a property under contract, every time they close on a property, every time they sold a property, I make them go out to the listserv to tell all the other big dogs what they're doing.
Nice.
So there's two more things that happen from there. Number one, everyone just says, congratulations, I'm so psyched for you. But then the other little thing that happens is people are jealous. People are jealous, and jealousy will do one of two things for you. Number one, kind of get you a little depressed. But our big dog students, man, it's like, I've got my eye on you. I'm coming after you. I'm going to be the next one to post something. So it's encouraging.
It's a motivation.
It's a motivator.
Yeah, that's
and
great.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And so I love the fact that you're sharing some of your student successes, and sharing how your student took their life back. Because it's and I mean, I know I've done it, I know you've done it. Oh honey, I'll play with you later, I've got to just send this one last whatever, I've got to do this one last thing. But to have less time where you're doing that and more time where you're focusing on your family, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that.
No.
It's
the time freedom.
It's time freedom, and you're controlling your destiny. You're not letting some big company control you.
Right.
It's you.
Right.
It is you. So I love what you do, and I appreciate you sharing some of that message with us. So we're still like getting started in real estate. Now I want to know how we went getting started in real estate and internet marketing. What was just that, and you replicated some of the things of some of the most successful people you saw, but what was can you point to one specific turning point where, man, you found this, you tested it, it worked, you brought the boom, and the boom brought you to this higher level of success? Tell me that part too, Jeff.
Sure. Really, the big catalyst for me in my business was, we got really good at webinars, like I'm talking about, and we teach our students all about webinars. It doesn't matter what your business is. Webinars are an amazing vehicle to getting yourself out there, and again, you can automate it like I was talking about. Well, so what happened is then the next thing is relationships, networking. So it's like, okay, it's awesome if you're great at doing this and that, but if nobody knows about it, then who cares?
It's the marketing, and it's not the product. Phil always tells me, Shanoa, enough steak, now we need to add a little sizzle.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
And have those relationships. So you and I are you, Phil, and I are friends. I love you, man. I think you're like the coolest ever, and just a nice person too. So talk about building those relationships. Which relationships you focus on? Which relationships maybe you left behind? And maybe why you did.
That's really good actually.
So talk about sort of building that out. Build that out for me a little bit.
Well, let's do a quick little case study using me and you.
Okay.
Let's like be totally transparent and real and show you the power of this, okay?
Yeah.
So right now, we're doing this interview.
Right.
Okay? And, great things are going to come of it between me, you, and Phil, and your
students,
gracious students listening and things like that. Great things are going to happen, right? So how did I meet you? Well, how I met you and Phil was through a mastermind that we both happened to join. So this is a mastermind that we're still both in.
Yes,
That's got 20 or 30 of the top
players
in the internet.
All industries,
in all industries, right? And so, how did I get into that mastermind?
Okay.
To be able to meet you, to be able to be here today, was I went to the person that runs that mastermind. I went to their event 3-4 years ago, I think. And got very acquainted with them and liked what they did and networked with them, and I paid the extra VIP access to have access to them at that event, and things like that, and decided, you know what, I really like these guys, I'm going to hitch my wagon to them. So then I joined the mastermind. Well, what got me to that event? So I mean, I'm just saying we could keep going back and back, and the relational capital that I've developed from being in masterminds like that, and that's not the only mastermind.
And surrounding yourself with successful people, getting those ideas and those habits. And
then they find out, hey, you're really good on webinars. Well, that's interesting. I think you ought to do a webinar to my people. I think they'd be really interested in what you're talking about. Boom, 1,000 people. Another one, 6,000 people. Another, you send them to, and it got to the momentum started, and that steam train started. The steam locomotive started, and I couldn't stop. This is a little over 3 years ago, and I literally couldn't stop it because this is what happened. Again, it's the internet, right? A lot of people are watching from all over. Other people that were connected to people like you and Phil and things like that were on those webinars. Because they saw somebody like you and Phil talking about Jeff. Well, they trust you and Phil. They have a relationship with you and Phil. I said, well, let me go see what this Jeff guy is talking about. I mean, Phil and Shanoa seem to be pretty
third-party
hot
endorsement.
on him. Exactly. And then they saw, so then I'd get phone calls. I never forget the when I did a webinar to a really big name person in the internet industry. I'm not sure how many people in the real estate industry would know who he is, but arguably one of the top really kind of digital marketing, internet marketing gurus in the world. And my phone started ringing off the hook. I mean, we made really good money together. We made a lot of sales and things like that, but my phone started ringing off the hook from the other people in his network that were listening to the webinar that night.
Hitched their wagon to him and then said, I want to be a part of whatever he's a part of.
People like Frank Kern, Mike Philsame, a lot of people not sure how many of your bird doggers know and things like that. But these are big guys in the industry that I may not have, they would have been extremely inaccessible to me. And even if I saw them at an event or something, they, depending on how I approached them, they'd kind of be like, who is this guy coming up to me and things like that. But the power of credibility, the power of
and building that
instant authority.
And then building, and looking, the more...
So that's what my whole thing is. That's what kind of really led to the volume, and where I am now was just the volumes of relational capital turning into volumes of a lot of other things.
So you made decisions and you pursued those decisions, and you made choices and you pursued those choices, and you gave, honestly, you gave yourself a lot of opportunities to be lucky. So and that's something that I always encourage our students to do. Keep putting yourself out there, because you never know when you're going to meet that one person, and you never know when that one person's going to have that one opportunity, and you never know when that one opportunity is going to be something that changes your life forever.
Exactly.
And it sounds like so I can see your path. I'll tell a similar story for one of our students. We did a cruise, and we said, hey, our students, hey, love to have you guys on the cruise with us. We'll do mastermind sessions. We'll do all these different things. And there were these two guys that stick out to me who said, yeah, I want to do this. And they, paid for the cruise, they paid to be part of the mastermind. And, they really took the time to they gave themselves a chance to be lucky. They gave themselves a chance to be in our face. They gave themselves, they presented a good case to us about why we should do business with them. And literally 2 months later, I'm doing business with them. I'm doing real estate deals with them.
Yeah.
And I mean, people approach me all the time, and I have to pick and choose which ones that I want to work with. But if someone is that aggressive and says, I want to be part of this so much that I'm going to, pay to be part of that mastermind, that I'm going to, while I'm there, I'm going to work really hard to develop that relationship. And then after that, I'm going to follow up.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I mean, where's that money? It's in the follow-up and the follow-through, right? It's not just in that, I got his business card, maybe I'll call him. It's that, I've got his business card. Here's my schedule of every single time I'm going to call this person, right? I mean, it sounds, I mean, you're just giving yourself these chances and opportunities to be lucky, right? I mean, there's, we talk about the secrets of success. It's not, secrets. It's just putting yourself out there, following some of these fundamentals, and doing it consistently.
Yeah, and I'll tell you a really quick funny story. I was recently, I think you may know this person too, was courting someone to do business with.
Okay.
And I texted him, and I said, just so you know, I'm going to follow up with you and call you and text you an email till either you do business with me or tell me to F off. But even if you tell me to F off, I will probably still continue to follow up with you or find someone else in your organization that I can get to or something like that.
I love that.
And here's the funny thing is that it's weird how our mindset works on relationships and networking and connecting and things like that. And it's also weird. I want to let everybody listen. Is probably going, wow, the internet, like connecting relationships, things like that in the internet,
going
like
from
this
like a
machine
billboard,
thing,
going from a billboard to that connection. Like I want you to talk about that at some point.
Yeah, I will talk about that. But I just wanted to make sure everybody that's listening understands, with the proliferation of social media and things like that, the internet is social. Used to, when you first started doing stuff on the internet, you could be the man behind the curtain and, be like just this company that's on the internet, and you can't be that anymore. Even companies have giant Twitter followings and Facebook pages and things like that. So just wanted to, clarify that. But, it even if someone tells you to F off because you're bugging
Thank you
so
for
much,
making this so like we don't have to edit it.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. So
for all the children out there.
So we're okay. Yeah, so go on.
Nobody dies if someone tells you to F off. And I literally have a sign next to my desk that says, nobody's going to die in your business today. Nobody's going to die in your business day from doing your business. That's what I have this literally up on my desk. It says nobody's going to die from you in your business today from you doing your business.
Okay.
But we get so dramatic.
Were
it's
you
like,
ever
I don't
shy?
want to call that person.
Were you ever shy and said like I can't call this person?
I was very shy. I used to be, I was a tech guy. I was in a cube farm.
Okay.
I was in my cubicle. I was a very introverted kid. And things like that. I was a ham around my family, but when it came to other people, I was fairly introverted. And it took me, really just needing to make money and motivation. It's like I didn't have a choice. I wasn't going to go get another job. And so, oftentimes when you're forced into a situation where you have to make something happen, a sleeping giant can come out of you.
That last time, did you update your resume?
That last time, did I update it? No. You know what's funny, though? I still get calls from technology companies.
Is that right?
Yeah, and my resume is probably, 8 years old now.
So
and I still
do
get
they
calls.
say I'm going to continue to call me until you tell me to F off?
No, that's one, and it's funny you say that because I've noticed that they die on the vine. They call me one time.
Yeah.
Leave a voicemail, no follow-up. Now, maybe it is because of they see how old my resume is, so maybe I'm not an A prospect or whatever. So, I'll give them that. But, it's amazing to me out there how much people don't follow up and follow through, and the poor follow up and follow through. And on the internet, you have email. You can follow up with 80,000 people at the same time. When I email all of my subscribers, I'm literally touching 80,000 people at one time in an instant by sending that email. That's what I'm talking about with the leverage. There's no other leverage like that.
So you got to the point, the last layoff where you did not update your resume, where you became unemployable.
Mm-hmm.
I know that a lot of our students want to be unemployable. And I know, so for you, it was sort of a series of being disappointed in the job prospects, being disappointed where you were, not wanting to go through it again because there are emotional highs and emotional lows. What advice do you have to give to our students as they go through that process of wanting to be unemployable but being fearful about being unemployable, and just sort of taking those steps from, W-2 to this is all me?
Right. I mean, the best advice, because people always ask me, what's the secret to success,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or what's the number one key to your success?
Mm-hmm.
And it's really, 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 really simple for me to answer. And it's coaching. I mean, coaching and mentors,
Surrounding
whatever way
yourself,
you want to
yeah.
say it.
Yeah.
Surrounding yourself with advisors, coaches, mentors, peers that have experienced. I've had ups and downs in this business.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't been like, we could have a whole other interview about all the failures that I've had. But because I've surrounded by people like you and Phil,
Mm-hmm.
and things like that are not only
Mastermind.
friends,
Mm-hmm.
but also have been through the ups and downs,
Sure.
and understand and can relate. And they can, the thing that like Phil and I talk a lot about marketing and
Mm-hmm.
things like that, and the thing about talking to Phil about marketing is he'll say something and I'll go, because I'll be challenged with something, and then he'll say something, and his outlook on it or the way he said it just like clicks for me.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have that, you literally are like putting up a wall to success, in my opinion. You're putting up a massive blind spot that is almost impossible to be removed. Because in my opinion, the only way to remove blocks, blind spots, remove the past from your future and put it in the past where it belongs is coaching, mentorship, advisement, peer groups, masterminds, whatever you want to call them. And without those, if someone says, hey, you can only say one thing, it's that for success. Because if you look at everything that I've done and where I am now, I can always attach it to a person somewhere. Again, just using our example of meeting you and Phil. So that's the thing, is that those of you listening are obviously have amazing mentors in Shanoa and Phil. So don't stop listening to Shanoa and Phil. And if you have an issue, I'm not sure what you have set up. I know with this one group you have the listserv and stuff like that.
I talk to our students all the time.
Yeah, the thing that I would tell people listening is that, someone told me one time that, all the answers in the world are on Google. What's missing are great questions. And, if there's another thing I could say that's kind of like a precursor to the coaching, is I just flippin' asked. I just opened my mouth. I didn't hide away. I was still scared. You can still be scared. One of my mentors used to say, the definition of a courageous person is someone that's scared to death but doesn't stop. And you think about an astronaut. I mean, strapping themselves to all that fuel, all that power, and things like that. You think they're not scared, bleep, you know what? But they've been trained and developed. They've had the coaching, and through all the fear, especially, and we've seen what can happen during liftoffs, unfortunately, over the last 30 or so plus years in our space program.
He lives really
I do live close to NASA,
so it is really close to him, yeah.
And so, but they know what to do. The fear doesn't go away. Fear never goes away.
That's a really good point.
It never goes away.
But
it's how you deal with it.
They prepared for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me back you up on one thing. So you met some folks. You paid VIP level seating. Kind of got to know them. Joined the mastermind. Were able to sort of reach out to some other people as a result of that. But one sort of component, so your networking was awesome. Your sort of marketing within your group was awesome. But you had something.
Mm-hmm.
So you had something that people wanted. And that also helped facilitate and drive some of these relationships that you built. So
right.
Talk a little bit about that as well.
Yeah. Well, the thing that we have.
Your secret sauce.
Yeah, my secret sauce is we literally can take anyone and take their business online, or even if they don't have a business yet, position them as an authority, get them eyeballs, get them exposure, create a swarm of prospects and customers, and make money, which is what we all want to do at the end of the day, right? And not only that, but like I said, show them how to do it with automation and maximum amounts of leverage.
So they can spend more time.
Exactly. Because the internet, I know there's a lot of people that I know that have internet businesses and they're still working their butts off. And I'm not saying I don't work.
Right.
Okay. I work.
We are not the get rich quick, no work people. We are the work your butt off and make a great living people.
There is no such thing as a get rich quick scheme.
Right.
The only way to get rich quick is to buy a lottery ticket and win or inherit it.
Yeah.
And then, what's it really worth at that point? Anything worth anything. We're not talking about, I'm glad you brought that up. They're not talking about, internet millions overnight or something like that. Okay. It takes work. But the cool thing about what me and my team has done with what we show people how to do is we cut off years and months because we have a system. We have a process. You teach a system and a process to bird dog for houses, wholesale houses, rehab houses, whatever, the different types of real estate, cash flow properties, commercial, whatever. And there's a system and a process to that. And you guys, I know, are really good at that, and you can cut out so many unneeded steps and so much unneeded pressure and remove the fear.
It's the fear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, that's what we're really good at as far as helping people sell a product online, sell other people's products online, sell an information product online, sell leads online, get leads online, whatever your business is. I literally do not care what your business. I have clients that own 2 chocolate stores in New York. They own 2 physical mom and pop chocolate stores in New York, and we've massively increased their business via doing some strategic things online through email and social media and information marketing and things like that they never even had any clue existed. But at the end of the day, what we did was we made it. This is a mother-in-law and a daughter-in-law. Interesting duo there that are spending almost all their time in these stores, selling chocolate and making chocolates and everything that goes along with it. But I showed them, even with all of that, where they could squeeze in this and squeeze in that, and how they could shift things in their current business such that they could create more time. They were working in their business too much.
Sure.
And so I showed them a little bit more about how to work on their business first, such that they could create the time and space to start building up, doing some of these, web and internet initiatives that I was teaching them. And then they did those things, and then they got more time, they're working more on their business, and they implemented what I said, and now they're making more money too, and doing more sales and things like that.
And that sort of brings us around to NIDO and working in your business, working on your business, creating that stop doing list. And I talked about that in Dallas last week. And someone says, "What do you mean? What do you mean? You're stop doing
the not to do list."
Yeah, the not to do list. And it kind of gave some simple examples like don't do your laundry, don't cut your lawn, don't go grocery shopping. One of the and some of it's like hard decisions. Like for me personally, I had a 6-figure realtor and brokerage business that I said, I can do more things in my life than that and make more money. So letting that go was really, really hard for me, but it was the right thing to do. Phil is an engineer, and he could build a house with his bare hands. And Phil has, and you've been in our garage, right? We've got every tool known to man. So over the years, I've been I've been giving away his tools because I don't, because he would do a project inside the house and stop doing that, right? I'd much rather you be focusing on working on something, and working on our business than doing a repair or something that we could pay someone $100 or $200 or $300 to do.
Right.
So that kind of gets to this concept that I see a lot of our investors kind of go through, which is they focus so much of their time and energy on saving money instead of making money. Can you talk to us about that mindset, and if you ever sort of had that mindset, how you I know you have lots of employees in your business, how you went from kind of doing everything yourself to hiring people under you, and so that you can focus more on your business instead of doing every single piece of your business.
Right.
And then how you show your students how to do that, how you'll show our students how you'll share with them as well.
Right. Well, the thing that I always tell everybody is that you have certain things that you are what I call your wheelhouse. Okay. So these are the things that they're like your genius, right? And what I always ask myself is should I actually have this written down somewhere too? Is should I be doing what I'm doing now? And it really revolves around your genius. Okay, if you're not at least 80% plus working inside of your genius, so an example, just because, I'll use my student Gabby again. So her genius is she's this really amazing, boisterous woman. Okay, just totally has the law of attraction down like you wouldn't
Naturally,
believe.
it's innate,
Right,
yeah.
exactly. She's very beautiful, she's tall, she's got this amazing voice, and she's always smiling. Her smile is amazing. She's a great listener, and things like that. So her wheelhouse is networking
Talking
and
to
connecting,
people,
right? Her unwheelhouse is techno stuff.
Yeah.
She was an absolute techno dunce. And what a lot of people think is oh no, the internet, technical.
Yeah.
Now, Phil's a left brain engineering technical guy, so that probably didn't worry him. Didn't worry me. I was an IT guy. But a lot of my students and clients, that worries the crap out of them.
That's actually good because I don't have an aptitude for that, so I'm going to hire someone
exactly.
Yep. or work with someone like you just to say, I don't want to do that. I that's not, let me go focus on these other things. So so you basically,
we force our students, we literally won't let them. It's kind of interesting. It's not a trick. Our programs are designed with things missing, and some of the things missing are things I don't want them to do. Because if I start showing them how to do it and teaching them how to do it, they're going to try to go do it.
Yeah.
What I'm going to show them is how to, again, leverage other people, OPE, other people's efforts,
and energy,
OPT, other people's times,
yes.
To do that. You can get you can get 5 web pages that are connected together with your shopping cart and or whatever else you need, a web form on it and stuff like that. Nowadays, you can get all that done for very, very, very little. Literally probably less than what you spend on your satellite and cable bill every month. And I know a lot of people have satellite and cable, okay? And, or stop going to Starbucks or buy the smaller one at Starbucks or something like that, And so, technology only gets faster and cheaper. And so, for instance, a great example is Gabby. She was so worried about all the technical stuff. And we showed her, said, well, okay, good. Well, you don't need to worry because we're not going to show you how to do the technical stuff. She's like, wait a minute, what do you mean you're not going to show me how to do the technical stuff? It's yeah, because I don't want you doing that. I want you, because what she did, the way she started her internet business is she did an online telesummit. So she gathered 20 speakers. It's called Coaching with the Masters, and she gathered 20 speakers to talk about, mastering different areas of business and personal growth and things like that. And I wasn't about to sit there and show Gabby how to put all their pictures on the page and get all that. I was going to give Gabby a few tools of how to connect with those people and get them passionate about her passion and her message and what she wanted to do for her audience by gathering these speakers together on this telesummit. And that's what she did. And by golly, within 3 months, she had 20 of some of the top, thought leaders in her industry. And she paid some guy in her downtown to do all the technical stuff. And so, that's really...
So she didn't have this obsession with, I want to do it myself because I want to save money. But do you
so that's right. I remember that's what you were talking about. So the thing, this is what happens is you're going to save, what you're doing is you're saving money, but you're destroying your success. You're literally, this is going to look funny, you're shooting yourself in the foot, in my opinion.
Got it.
Because if you're going to, and I used to do it, IT guy, I used to want to do all the technical stuff. Because I was like, if I know I'll do it right, and I can do it fast, right? I mean, and a lot of us get in that mindset, something we know how to do.
And I will do it the best.
That's right.
No one knows how
to do it like me, and that's hard.
If I show you, it'll take longer than if I just do it myself.
Oh, man. God, I wish I had $1,000 every time somebody said that.
I know.
I'd be on an
I'll
island
even just
somewhere.
take a nickel for every time.
Exactly. Still have thousands of dollars. But yeah, you can't. It's a trap. It's programming. Again, it's a blind spot that has to be removed. That through coach. See, Gabby had us as a coach.
Sure.
So we could stop her.
Yeah.
If she started trying to do technical stuff or something that's like, you're not in your wheelhouse, Gabby. Are you really supposed to be doing what you're doing right now?
So are you in your wheelhouse?
Yeah.
Are you in your wheelhouse?
Are you in your wheelhouse in our programs?
Should I be doing what I'm doing now? Now. I like that.
I take out my trash. I take my trash can to the curb every Sunday night and Wednesday night. Trash days are Monday and Thursday where I live. And I got no problems doing that. It takes me a few seconds, okay? But I do it at 9 o'clock at night when I'm done with the day, non-productive time, and I have a little note on my phone that goes off at 9 o'clock and takes me 5 minutes to take the trash out. I do the dishes every once in a while. I cook sometimes, and things like that. But I don't have to do it, and I enjoy doing those things. I take pride in taking care of my home and some different things like that, but I don't do it such that it's a procrastination or gets in the way of other stuff that I know that I should be doing. I had a student one time that was a gardener. She just loved gardening, right? And when she started working one of my programs, I said, where's your desk? And where do you work mostly? Yeah. She's like, well, it's in, I have a little office and it's right in front of the window so that I can look at because I'm really proud of this. And I'm and I said, all right, cool. I was just wondering. And I didn't tell her. I was doing a little test. And so about a week later, we had a coaching call and I said, so what'd you do this week? And she's like, well, I didn't really get in. Well, I said, what were you doing? I was like, I just, I look out and I see this and it needs to be trimmed or it's whatever. And so I said, okay, look, I knew that's what was going to happen, but I just wanted to test it. So I said, you don't have to move your desk. Shut the blinds on the window. Shut the blinds on the window. That's all I want you to do. And she's like, well, that's weird. I was like, yeah, just shut the blind. Well, why do you want me to do that? Just shut the blinds on your window. I don't want you looking out the window, I'm not trying to make you a little habit or something, but while you're working in your productive time, shut the blinds. She got more done the first day. She wrote me. She said, oh my gosh, just by closing the window and not being distracted by one of my other passions that doesn't really make me money right now, that I will then be able to spend all the time in the world doing later when I reach a certain level of time and financial freedom, just by shutting myself off to that a few extra hours a day. She only did it a few extra hours a day. She just couldn't resist. She had to. She just wanted the light, the natural light, and stuff like that. She said, I got more done the first 2 hours that you had me shut those blinds than I typically get done in 2-3 days, because I just shut out all those distractions. I shut out other things that I'm passionate about and didn't let them get in the way of my productive time. And, you also know your productive time. One of the guys that works with me is a night owl. And I give him a deadline. And it's like, dude, I don't care when you do it. As long as it gets done.
Right.
We're on the same page. You know what you're supposed to do, and it gets done. And typically his best working times are like 6 p.m. to 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. That's kind of his 8-hour shift, And he creates gold during that time. You got to know your people. You got to know yourself, but when you start leveraging and start hiring employees and things like that, you need to know their wheelhouse. Mm-hmm. Okay? The interesting thing about that too is that on the internet, you need to know your customers' behaviors. And that's another thing that we teach that I really think that we have I don't like to pat myself on the back a lot, but I think we are really good at helping our clients and customers know their customer behavior. So, if you're in real estate and you're wanting to go online to get more leads or sell more houses or buy more houses or whatever, and in fact, one of my business partners in my internet business also used to do real estate. Mm-hmm. So, real estate is actually a customer behavior that we actually know really, really well. So that's really good for the people listening right now. And so, again, we can also help people cut down that time to success because I feel like I know we can really help them hone in on their customers' behaviors, what they want to hear, the right messaging, the right things they want to see on your page or on your webinars and things like that.
So that brings me to one of the behaviors of our customers, of you guys, is and not everyone, but no one has enough money to be a real estate investor, right? At the end of the day, it takes enormous amounts of capital to do that. So you always need to be building, a buyer's list, just in case you get a deal and you don't have the funds to do it, or a buyer's list or a partner's list. So what we've done through REI Matchers, we've helped investors create their professional website so that they can draw in people with money, so they can draw in partners. Tell us how tell us how you can sort of marry that need in our business to always have more money coming in to fund deals with what you do and creating that credibility and putting some of those other systems in place.
Sure. Number one, we can help position you as an absolute authority in the real estate niche from whatever angle you want. And so, if it's getting more buyers, through Google and even Facebook and other social media platforms, and your whatever your online business funnels and online presence is, we can make it to where if a buyer sees you, number one, just right off the bat, we can help you get more buyers in your Rolodex because we can help them find you very quickly. And then on top of that, one of the things that I think that we're pretty special at is helping. I talked about that messaging, and I talked about customer behavior. If you're looking for buyers, your customer is a buyer. You always have a customer, no matter what you're doing, right? My kids.
A lot of people in real estate forget that, right?
You always have a customer, no matter. My kids, I'm their customer. When they're trying to get that extra treat or not finish dinner or whatever, I'm the customer and they're trying to sell me, right? So from the time you pop out of your mama's belly, you always have a customer in front of you. I heard a mentor or somebody someone say life is full of sales situations. Mm-hmm. And so what we can do
and you have to choose whether or not you're going to take that opportunity or pass, right?
The thing that I think how we can really help people too, especially in real estate, is the look and the feel and the messaging. Ken, one of the people that works with me, is just a master massagist and copywriter and messenger and things like that. So where if I left, no offense, your people, those of you listening, to your own devices and said, hey, go position yourself as an authority to buyers
Right.
on the internet,
Right.
it'd probably be, no offense, kind of messy, not, the right messaging,
Not
congruent,
yeah.
exactly, things looking funny, form and
Yeah.
function of the, literally every little detail, attention to detail. We test constantly, attention to detail.
I'll tell you, like
and
a
all that
lot
kind
of
stuff.
a lot of our investors will have one business card, and it is the orange business card that's like bright. And then try and give that to someone who you're trying to get money from to do deals, right? We buy houses, right? And you're giving it to Jeff, and you're saying, Jeff, hey, I know you have a Ferrari. I want to borrow some money from you, and you give him that business card. Having, because you think that you're always selling to a motivated seller, when in reality you're selling to both a motivated seller and you're selling to a buyer to try and get funds to do more deals.
Right, yeah, and we can make you look really smart, really professional, because we understand that customer behavior, and even if it's a niche, now we know this niche.
Right?
Yeah, we know this niche, but let's say someone comes to us with a niche where it's maybe not something we know about. Well, it's very simple. Go model someone else that's successful. That's literally the secret. I'm kind of giving away, the secret here is model someone else that's successful at what you want to do. And it's funny you mentioned business cards. One of the other things that we help people with, if they're interested, is create a new kind of business card. And what we do is, it's actually not a business card. It's a book. One of our programs, we show people literally how to write a best-selling how-to or business book, informational book, and that becomes your new business card. So let me do that same scenario you just said. Okay, so imagine somebody walking up to me with that funky business card or whatever. I can tell you right now, somebody walks up to me with their business card, it's going in my pocket, it's going to get all wrinkly, it's probably going to get thrown away.
Right.
I'm just saying, I'm not a jerk.
Right.
I'm just saying, whatever. If someone comes up to me and says, hey, how you doing? Asks a little bit about me, tries to take care of me a little bit, and shows that they're really interested in me, and gets them to gets them to ask about them, and then you pull out a book. Well, I just wrote this book, and it was an Amazon bestseller and things like that. Why don't I give you a copy? It talks a whole lot more about what I do, what I'm about. Here, I'll sign it for you. And now
that's not
that guy is, I don't care if he's a billionaire, that guy is not going to go throw that book away. They would feel bad. Like if someone, and I've had students and people hand me books. I've read every single one of them. I typically read them on the plane, because they'll give them to me at an event, and I'll read them on the plane. Gives me something to do on the plane. And then they are in my library.
Right.
They're in my business library, and sometimes I'll even pull them back out because there was something really cool in them or something like that. I'm not throwing that away.
Right.
I don't care who you are. You are an absolute jerk if you throw that away. And so we can help them with things like that.
So what if you said, and the title of my book to you, Jeff, who I'm trying to borrow money from, is how to make above average returns passively by investing in real estate.
Exactly.
And that's the book that you give to everyone that you're trying to borrow money from. And you wrote it, right? So you get to know what it says. And then, wow, this is my guide to working with you. How cool is that?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. The book becomes an amazing marketing, credibility, and authority piece. And then think about it too. Let's look. You were talking about saving money, spending money versus saving money, stuff like that. You go buy 500. How much is good? I haven't bought a business card in forever because I don't use business cards. Just like I'm talking about, I practice what I preach. I have a best-selling how-to book called The New Masters of Online Marketing, and that's a lot of times what I use as my business card. And so, how much does 500 business cards cost now?
$20-$30.
Yeah, right. So you can get 500. Let's say 500 really professionally done business cards. Let's just say $100, just to use nice round numbers. Really nicely done,
Got it.
Front and back, all the colors like you're talking about.
Say, free printing at Vistaprint.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe they're metal. Like
Yeah.
a buddy of
Okay,
mine
yes,
just got some
yes.
business cards and they're like
Yes,
metal. I'm
yes.
like, oh my gosh, dude, that's got to weigh your wallet in. I'm like, dude, how many of those can you put in your wallet? Like 3 or 4. I'm like,
they
okay,
cut
that's
through your
awesome.
pants, too.
Exactly. And my left cheek's kind of heavy, and I can't, can't go through all the metal detectors at the airport and things like that. And so, anyways, imagine for that same and 90% or more of those business cards are going to get what? Thrown away. Yeah. Trashed completely. You spent your hard-earned money on something that most likely, frankly, is going to get thrown in the trash. Mm-hmm. You go spend the same $100, get 10 books printed, and hand those 10 books out to top people in your niche that you want to do business with. None of them are going to get thrown away. They're most likely going to get read, and you're going to get contacted. They're going to remember. You're going to make this impression. That's going to, even if they don't read your book, even if they take it home and they say, okay, here's another one, they're going to remember that. Oh, yeah, you gave me that book or whatever.
They're not going to take it home and say, oh, yeah, here's another one, because you're probably going to be the only person who's done that with
exactly.
Them.
One of the few and the proud. Exactly. And because we're going to help you write a book that is the kind of book you would want to give to the type of person that you want to do business with or deals with or sell your products to or help or have as a client or whatever.
So one of the things that I use for credibility on our seller site, so when we're looking for motivated sellers, is I have a picture with Rudy Giuliani. And, that carries some weight. So, in the, psychology, right, like somewhere in the, the subconscious, someone's saying, wow, that's like the mayor of the world, wow, that person can really like put something together if they can be with that person.
Yeah.
Wow, he saved all those people and helped all those people and sort of organized around rebuilding a city. And maybe the person who's right next to him, me, can help me as I rebuild and reorganize my life. And that person is so it's just all of these, making all of these connections just subconsciously, and that branding, and then the book branding, and just some of the combination of all these things that you can bring together for someone can really make a difference. And you kind of talk about your path. Part of your path to success was putting yourself out there, connecting with the right people, having something that people could get excited about, and then developing that excitement and then performing on it so that they come back, right? And the follow up and the follow through. So I think all of sort of this this what you painted for us here is a blueprint for success for a lot of people, and helping them through those steps just makes it a lot easier.
Right. Yeah, it's it took me, for all intents and purposes, a good, at least, I would say, probably 6+ years to finally say that I've reached, success, like what I would call success as an internet entrepreneur. And you look at someone like my student, Gabby, and it took her 4 months. Yeah. 4 months. And it's because that we have that system, that process. Right. People see it, and they see themselves being able to do it.
So it's not like you get something and it stays in the saran wrap, whatever. It's like it's so easy that it just.
And we'll call you too. We won't let you get away with that. We call our clients and customers, and we do a lot of follow up, and we have Q&As so people can ask their questions. I know you guys do stuff like that. Right. To your customer is your greatest asset.
And we do that because we want our people to be successful.
Yeah.
So I think that's awesome. Jeff, any final thoughts you want to share with our folks that are listening to this?
The only thing I would say is that the internet, like I said at the beginning, I'll just remind them what I said at the beginning, literally is the fastest, least expensive, simplest way to brand yourself and position yourself as an authority, literally almost overnight. Now, when I say literally overnight, remember, I'm not talking about a get rich quick scheme, okay?
Right.
I'm literally talking about positioning yourself overnight, because you build the pages and the copy and everything goes on them, and then you say post, and then boom, there you are, right? And now you have to get traffic and eyeballs to it and things like that, which you can do. very quickly.
Sure.
You can put those pages up, put the system in place, the next night be doing a webinar in front of 1,000 people. And now to those 1,000 people, just like that,
Right.
you're the authority. I mean, that's how I got started in this.
Right.
I literally, my first thing I did online, I did a webinar in front of 5,600 people. And that's how that webinar happened one night. And the next day I had thousands of dollars in my bank account, and those 5,600 people thought, and I was good at what I did. It sounds bad. Those 5,600 people thought I was an authority, but a better way to say it is I positioned myself as an authority. And I'm not talking about being inauthentic or anything like that, you know. And we show you how to do it authentically.
It's sort of the step to go from, yes, this is exactly what I do in my business, and now I'm going to show people.
Exactly.
And when you first show people, you're not thinking that you're going in like I'm this big guru.
Right.
You're just thinking like, hey, this worked for me. I want to kind of, I put the processes in place. I productized it. I've made it so it can work for other people. So I've got these systems and I've got these fundamentals and these foundational steps so that other people can replicate it. But you didn't go in there thinking like, oh, I'm going to be this big guru.
No.
You just went in there saying, hey, I get, because I get calls all the time for people asking me, how do you do what you do?
That's exactly.
And then you just said, fine, let me just, I can't take all these individual calls. Let me just put something together and then I'll share it with the world.
It's funny you said that, because that's exactly how I figured out the first thing I was going to sell online was people asking me how I was doing this or that. Yeah. And so, at the end of the day, it is the simplest, cheapest, fastest, most effective way, in my opinion, to brand yourself and position yourself as an authority. And it is not this big, bad gorilla elephant of a thing to overcome. And when you do programs like we have and you hitch your wagon to people like me and other great coaches and mentors, and Phil and Shanoa, we can just make it so much more simple. Don't try to go do it for yourself. Don't, whatever resources Phil and Shanoa are making you available from me and by me, at least go take a look.
Yes.
Because I guarantee you, left to your own devices, it's going to be a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, and we can really cut off the time, but take advantage of it. Get online. Whatever you want to do in your real estate, have an online presence with that, because it just creates, and we've already talked about how much leverage and everything that can come from that. You're really behind if you're not doing that.
So Jeff, this is sort of an interview format. I want you to kind of come back with some PowerPoint or Keynote and sort of go through a little bit more of the how-to and the steps and a little bit more of that. So can you make sure and kind of prepare something for us to kind of share the rest of the story and some of the one step by step details and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I learned new stuff about Jeff today. One of my good friends that we've developed a relationship with over the years through some of the decisions that we've both made together. And he can show you how to do some awesome, amazing stuff. So, Jeff, thank you so much for being here with us today and sharing and opening up, hopefully in ways that you haven't in a while.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. It was such a big pleasure to have you. Thank you.
Thank you for taking the time, and thanks to everybody listening. Your time is your most valuable asset, so thank you for sharing it with Shanoa and I.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.